This is really one of those common sense things that you deal with. It comes from your childhood, the things you've learned, that you learn how to actually reapply them as an adult. So I'm going to do some adulting here, and I'm going to explain to you, like, okay, on a camper you have two of these. They're like used for electrical or used for your gas line, for your stove. And they sit back in, and you have like putty on them. It's like a gasket. So you put the cord up through there, and on mine, this one right here, this broke. So I replaced it, and there's 3 holes that go in for screws. And on the bottom screw, it's not stripped, but it didn't want to hold, so I couldn't use a gasket on that. I used instead caulking, a real heavy silicone caulking, and did it on both ends, and it held very well. You can see after a while they get brittle. And replacing these is very important, because even though it's really in good shape back here, this is getting all the weather, and it's going to get brittle. And it also makes it look really nice when you have a new one on. So the question is, on this particular problem, where do you get a gasket for this? And it's like a putty, so you want it totally flat. I'm going to explain to you what to do. I made one. Very simple. First of all, you want to take a piece of paper like I did here and measure the outside. So you want to set it flat. You want to measure that outer perimeter. Just take a pencil and sketch it. And when you're done, cut it out like I did. Okay, so you'll be left with a circle. And fold it in fourths. Okay. So you know where the center is. I marked where the screw holes are. Second of all, once you find the center, you want to find this distance here, where your gasket would sit. So you measure that, and you'd mark that off onto your piece of paper on one. I do it on all 4 of these corners, of these where I folded. And from there, I can get the center line to this. And I just draw my circle the whole way around. I have a better compass than this. It works, but it doesn't lock. I like a good locking one. But anyhow, I got it done. And what I came up with is this gasket pattern diagram that will fit on it. Now, I could take a couple different things to use for a gasket. I could take a plastic that you get when you buy a TV to insulate it. I could make this out of a pattern for it, but instead I'm going to get plumber's caulking. Not plumber's caulking, plumber's putty. Okay, and roll it out. It's about this size. I'm going to straighten it out into like you would a Play-Doh, not flat. And I'm going to take a little rolling pin across it to get it at the same even flat consistency. So it's all going to be like if it is a gasket. And I'm going to set this on top of that putty. I'm going to take an X-Acto knife and I'm going to cut around this. So I can take all that excess away, and I will have a gasket made of plumber's putty in this size. Okay, cut the holes out, which I can just, the same way with this diagram, slip over top of it. The reason for this is that, when I do put this on, whereas I couldn't with the one with the caulking because it sat out a little bit because the screw didn't want to totally go in right. I got it to stick with that. I won't need that with the, like I did with the caulking. But with the plumber's putty on here as a gasket, I will have an even flatness to it. So it should sit flush and even against there. So when I tighten these screws down, now what I want to do when I tighten them down, just put them in. Don't tighten one all the way. Go into where it holds it in, and then keep them all at that level, and then tighten them down for that to stick. As you tighten them down, it should give you the ability to take the excess off.